Yeah, baby, here we go. You're listening to the Human Powered Life podcast, where we focus on helping you claim what's rightfully yours, your health and your freedom. We explore the three main areas of health: the physical realm, the biochemical realm, and the mental and emotional realm. We also explore all the areas of lifestyle we can find that will help you live more abundantly, regardless of where you're starting. And remember, in life, you'll either make excuses or create results. You choose. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Hant, and I'm glad to be with you here today. Make sure to head on down to the show notes and click on the link to join our tribe of human-powered life heroes, where we'll update you on new shows, events, product launches, and so much more. Now, it's time to enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Human Powered Life podcast. We have an amazing guest today, Tim James. Dude, I'm excited. I'm excited about our pre-chat, man. I'm all fired up already. So welcome to the show.
Josh, thanks for having me on here, buddy. I was excited to meet you. Like this guy. I like this guy. He's like talking my language.
Yeah, that's what's so great about this world. We start to resonate bigger when we are around people with like minds. So I appreciate you being on. So let's, people probably know who you are. They know the name. But for our audience, since this is a new show, this is a new podcast, we're reaching new audiences. Give everybody your story, like your 5 minutes on who you are and why who you are.
Sure. So I grew up over in Eastern Oregon on a small cattle and hay farm. Grew up hunting and fishing, lived on the standard American diet, played baseball at a high level for 30 years. And then at age 37, I found myself, wife, kids, mortgage, all that stuff, financial advisor, 42 pounds overweight. I had eczema on both my elbows and my knee, cracking and bleeding every day. I was ruining shirts, and I had to start, as a financial advisor, I couldn't wear white shirts anymore. I had to wear black ones because I'm bleeding all over the place. It got worse. I started bleeding rectally every time I pooped. That's why, for those of you who are listening, you can't see us. My shirt says "Love When You Poop," because for me, it was a very painful process and followed by blood. And this went on for 2.5 years. And being a guy, I just kind of stuck my head in the sand, and I hope that goes away. Doctors wanted me to go on like Prilosec and pharmaceutical drugs, and that stuff was just really weird to me. So I was lucky enough I stayed away from that. And then on a trip down to Peru, I actually was doubled over in pain and had to take. I just missed the one plane flight out of that place called Tumbes, just south of Ecuador. And I was with my wife and her dad, who was a medical doctor. Thank God, because he's like, "We have to get you to the hospital. You need to go into surgery." I'm like, "What? I'm supposed to be having a vacation. This is terrible." So we missed the plane flight. So we had to rent a van, and I had to drive down. I didn't drive. Somebody else drove down this bumpy ass road down the coastline of Peru to this town called Piura. 6-hour drive through the middle of the night. And let me tell you what, I was bent over at a 90-degree angle. I could not stand erect. I was in so much pain. I had to walk like some super old dude. And every single bump was like somebody was just punching me in the gut. So it's a bumpity bump, bump, bumpity bump. 6 hours. It was the most horrible, literally the worst thing ever. It was like the worst ever. 6 hours of somebody just punching you in the gut, stabbing you with a knife in the stomach. And then when I got there, I was completely drenched in sweat, exhausted. They threw me on a examination table in this hospital, and there's bugs flying around me in the light. I'm in a third world country. I'm like, oh crap, I can't even use my health insurance. This is scary. Like I could die, right? And he said, "Dad's like, we have to get you. You could die." So I'm like, So he didn't want them. I should have went right into surgery right there, but he didn't want them to do it. He's like, "You need to get to my clinic in Lima." He's one of the top clinics there, and he had all the doctors. He's on the phone just working. He's setting up the surgery room and everything, and he's talking to them. It's all in Spanish, and like I'm picking up some of it, but I'm out of it, dude. I mean, for 6 hours I had the crap beat out of me, literally. And so they doped me up, put me on a plane. Not supposed to do that, but flew me to Lima. I took a taxi cab and then out of the taxi cab, they threw me on a gurney and right into surgery. And I spent the rest of my vacation recovering. And then my wife pushed me back into the United States in a wheelchair because I wasn't completely recovered yet. What I learned from that experience was that my poor health doesn't affect just me. It affects everybody else around me. And number two, because I felt bad for her dad, because 30 years, he'd never taken a vacation. It was his first vacation away from the hospital in 30 years. And where did he end up? Back in the hospital, taking care of my sad butt, because I didn't know how to take care of my health. So anyway, and the other thing I learned is I don't ever want to get surgery again. It scared the crap out of me. And nowadays with what's going on in the hospitals, I definitely don't want to go in there unless I have to. So Anyway, so fast forward, I still didn't know what I was doing. I was trying high carb, low fat, high fat. I mixed it up 10 ways to Sunday. I actually tried juicing for a while, but I was doing too much sugar in it. I didn't know. And then my buddy got diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia at age 43, my buddy Charles. And he asked me to go with him to Hippocrates Health Institute. It's this natural detox and nutrition clinic in Florida. They've been around for at the time, 61 years. Now it's like 66 or something. It was actually started by a gal named Ann Wigmore, who healed herself of stage 4 colon cancer with like herbs and grass juice and stuff like that. It's just, it's like, and I'm like, okay, I just told my buddy, he asked me to go with him. I said, yeah, I'll go with you to support you, because they didn't really have any cure for him for his cancer. So he's an entrepreneur, and he's like, I got to think outside the box. I want to see my son Charlie graduate high school. I want to go to father-son week in Oregon State University. And and I saw the look and fear in his face, and I thought he was going to be a goner, because my aunt died of skin cancer and lung cancer, and my grandma died of brain cancer. It was terrible, the surgery and the chemos and all that stuff. My mom was a saint taking care of my aunt. And then I actually lost a buddy of mine at age 40, Clay Mahoy, and he had 3 little boys from ages 6 to 17 to like stomach cancer. So my experience, first person, with people that have cancer that I knew, you don't make it. And so I thought Charles he was toast, and I just wanted to spend time with him and support him while I could. So we went to this January 1st, 2011. We flew into Hippocrates, and day one, my acid reflux was gone. I kind of went through they call it a Hertz reaction. Most people probably don't know what that means. I didn't. It's like a detox symptoms. They said it's kind of like doing surgery without a knife. So I was irritable. I had night sweats. I had a metallic taste coming out of my tongue as heavy metals were exiting my body. I didn't have it as bad as some people, though. Some people were like literally had like parasites crawling out of their pores. One lady had a parasite crawling out of her eye during lunch. I'm like, hey, you got a parasite crawling out your eye. And she's like, oh my God. I was like, don't get it in your salad, And why was this happening? Because when you go there, they were helping you to change the terrain, especially changing the internal terrain. And viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, fungus, parasites, these things that I learned, they love a high acid, low oxygen environment. Just like a polar bear, and penguins like cold, they're not going to live in Miami, right? They're going to pack their bags and leave. Well, these viruses and all these harmful organisms, they loved my acidic, low oxygen body, because I was eating all this sugar and all this stuff, right? And acidy based foods. And when you go there, you're eating the highest alkaline, highest oxygen diet on the planet. You're literally eating like a wild creature again, like a chipmunk, plugging you back into nature and doing therapies and stuff to clean you out. So the first class was called Internal Awareness. And this Dr. Scott Josephson comes out, and this dude's he's jacked. He's got like huge muscles. And first off, he said he hadn't had meat in 10 years, and blew my whole mind as a meat eating redneck, because I thought you had to have it. I'm like, what? It's like, but the dude, I met him, he's not lying to me. I just like, he's a straight up dude. He's telling the truth. And he's like, yeah, I stopped 10 years ago, and I got healthy and cleaned up my gut issues and stuff like that. I was like, whoa. And his skin looked amazing. And that was kind of the cool thing. The people that had been working there 10, 20 years, they looked about 10, 15, 20 years younger than the rest of the general population. So, success does leave clues, but I'm still very skeptical. And anyway, so we go to this internal awareness class, and he's just going through this whole thing. And he shows you from when you eat food, what happens throughout the entire digestive tract until it exits the body. And it's like, wow, that's freaking cool. That was awesome. I wish I would have known that sooner. Never got that taught before, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was throwing spit wads in class or something. And but he was trying to sell us on a colon hydrotherapy session. And the reason why is because he said the average person has about 6 to 12 pounds. Now, for those of you guys listening, this could be you. Like, you have a 98% chance of you. We have the average person has 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material lining this colon, or the large intestine. And it is it's got all this funk and gunk and junk in it. And it creates it houses bacteria and mold and yeast, fungus, all this stuff that we don't want in our bodies. I mean, it's in there, but we want to keep it at certain levels. It just loves this environment. So he's like, you guys got to clean that stuff out. And he actually pointed at me and he said, Tim, you got 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. And if you ever want to get healthy, truly healthy, you got to get this stuff cleaned up. So then he proposed colon hydrotherapy. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, well, you're going to sit on a tube rectally and water goes in and out of your colon. Now I'm elbowing Charles and saying, dude, I came here to help you, but I am not doing that. All right, this is okay. There's a lot of woo going around here, and this is getting a little crazy. I mean, some of this stuff is making a lot of sense and I feel good, but but the doctor was smart, and he started showing virtual colonoscopies of 4 people. 3 on the standard American diet that had some health issues, and 1 that had been on that Hippocrates protocol for quite a while. So they went inside of people's colons and they showed you what was going on. The first one was a 24-year-old woman that had Yeah, I think she had like Hashimoto's and thrush, which is a yeast infection. So inside of her colon was like yellow and white. And that's the yeast. It was just nasty and weird looking. I was like, oh my God. Then they went to a 65-year-old male with colon cancer and parasites. And it was all black and disgusting in there, and white worms are crawling around. And he looks at us and he's like, hey, man, and all of us, and he's like, hey, just so you know, this whole parasite thing, this is not a third world affair, right? Over 50% of you easily have parasites like this. And we're not just talking hookworms, pinworms, and tapeworms, these things you can see on a virtual colonoscopy. I'm talking about microscopic parasites, and all these little bugs are eating your food and drinking your drink, and they're urinating and defecating in you and creating more acid, and they're having sex and having lots of eggs and babies. And I'm just like, what? So this guy's like, what? It's like, okay, he's building a case here. Maybe I should get my butt cleaned out, And then they went to a 45-year-old woman with breast cancer, and I think she had like colitis or Crohn's. Her gut was all jacked up, right? And inside it was just like black and brown and nasty. Now, of course, you go look at the colon, you're expecting to see brown stuff, okay? Because it's what's supposed to come out. But the colon is not a storage tank. It's a waste removal system. So then they show the picture of this person that's been on the Hippocrates lifestyle. And, there's some brown stuff in there, but the colon was all pink, and there was clean, and there was the red blood vessels. My point is the terrain was completely different.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicked for me. It's just like, I got it. And I'm like, oh, it's an inside game. And I understand it now. Like from a redneck point of view, if the tractor isn't running well, or the vehicle's not running well, you don't just keep driving it until it dies on you and leaves you stranded. That's you just, putting everybody else in your life first, putting yourself last, taking care of everybody else. And then you end up in the hospital, and now you can't take care of anybody, right? You're stranded. The other thing is when you have issues like you're overweight, you're tired, you're fatigued like I was, you have mental fog, you're on medications, whatever, you got arthritis, Hashimoto's, you've got fibromyalgia, whatever your issues are, these are check body lights. Your body's actually telling you, you need to change your environment. You need to change your habits. Like now, it's just like, here's the warning sign, but we don't pay attention to it. We're too busy, we think. And then we go to a medical system that's broke, and they hand you a pill, and then you don't change anything. Just take the pill and you're all good. Yeah. And how's it working for people? We are the sickest people have ever been in the history of humanity. And we keep going into that model. I don't think so. I think we need a new paradigm shift here. And that paradigm shift is to clean up the body, get all the chemicals out, and to plug ourselves back into nature. Right. All
right, so I'm going to pause you for 1 second. So you signed up for the hydrotherapy, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when, yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I go off.
Like, all right, I'm first.
Yeah, exactly. Did you listen to me on another show?
No, I've listened to your show, but I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. So what? Well, I do a lot of interviews. I do about 5 or 10 a week. So anyway, this guy, he comes. So I'm like in the middle of the class after seeing that last virtual colonoscopy. I stand up in the middle of class and I walk over to the sign up sheet for the colon hydrotherapy, and I'm signing up. And the doctor's like, Tim, just hold off. We're going to do that when the class is done. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. I didn't even listen to him. I signed up. I was numero uno to get the colon hydrotherapy deal. So the next day I go in, they weigh me. I do the colon hydrotherapy. And just, I think I explained it for those that aren't familiar with colon hydrotherapy. It's colon hydro water therapy. It's a colon water therapy. So you basically insert a tube rectally, and water gently goes in and out of your colon for about an hour, and it simply cleans the colon. Now, when you go online, Western medicine is going to try to scare the crap out of you and say, it's going to kill you and all this stuff. Because there was somebody that did die, but it was because they went in and got I think it was a virtual colonoscopy, and the medical doctor nicked the colon. And then when the water went in, because it was like 2 or 3 days later, then the water got in there, and that's what happened. So if you have a good colon hydrotherapist, they'll ask you, have you had a virtual colonoscopy within the last week? Because your body's an amazing machine, man. It's always, you get new skin cells every day, and your intestinal lining is rebuilding itself. It'll heal itself very quickly. So as long as you haven't had a virtual colonoscopy, you're probably okay. But always, if you're older and you have cancer or something, there's certain things, certain people shouldn't do it. But there's other options like enemas. They're like a little softer. You know what I mean? There's different types of colon hydrotherapy too. There's open systems and closed system. The closed system is kind of a softer, gentler way, and you have a technician in there with you the whole time. Where the open system, you can kind of do it yourself. They come in and out, massage your stomach, but they leave. You can like watch a movie. So that's what I did. So I had the opens there, the closed system the first time at the institute. I do the deal, And I come back out, they weigh me again. I drop 10 pounds of impacted fecal material in 1 hour.
Mm.
Exactly what that dude said. Like he said, Tim, you got 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. He was right. And dude, all I can tell you was I felt so much better. I was a little tired afterwards because you're basically just going to the bathroom for an hour, right?
Yeah.
But it's smart. It's smart. It's like, I got it. It's like, okay, the tractor's not running well. What do? You flush the engine out. You flush out the transmission fluid. You put in new spark plugs, new fuel filters. But we've never been given an owner's manual to the body. And that's what they started teaching us there. At that institute, it's not just a place to go to get therapies and stuff. It's a school. And you get 40 hours of lectures a week while you're going through all these therapies, doing all this stuff and changing your lifestyle and diet. And they give you all these fresh foods. They have like a 3-acre garden. They're growing sprouts like crazy. Everything's like living food. In fact, their motto is not the food in your life. It's the life in your food. You can't create life with death. You have to create life with life. So anyway, I had a tremendous experience there. I looked at Charles one day and I woke up and I said, dude, do you feel as good as I do? And he's like, yeah. I said, I can't, dude. I said, I feel like I'm 18. My mental clarity, my arms were literally, Josh, were tingling with energy. And I said, dude, we have discovered the fountain of youth. Like literally, this is like not some, hocus pocus mythology thing. The fountain of youth, the fountain of youth is like nature.
Yeah.
We're just not doing it. And it's like, I said, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to give up all meat except for bacon. And when we get home, I'm going to do this whole deal with you. We're going to start juicing. And when we got home, Josh, that's exactly what we did. We started juicing twice a day, growing sprouts, eating the crap out of those things. And before too long, I had people come into my house asking questions, and I dropped the weight in like 60 days, 42 pounds gone. Eczema on my elbows was gone in 60 days. In 8 months, the big, huge patch of eczema on my knee was gone. I healed up my gut. I've been thriving ever since. I'm 40, almost 49 years old, and I can outrun my 19-year-old son, and he's in good shape, trail running. I went surfing with him. And most importantly, my friend Charles healed himself of that cancer. With no chemo, no surgery, no radiation, right in front of my face. I have first-person experience. He saw his son graduate high school. He went to father-son weekend, and we're friends. He picked up the guitar. Now, you see I got a guitar back there. We play guitar together. I got my friend, and we are thriving. We are absolutely thriving.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. I interviewed lots and lots of people, probably hundreds of people, and very oftentimes in the natural health world, like when someone finds what you found, right, your version of it, they go through hell. They got to go through like this insane crisis. Why do you think us as a species, like when we look at other animals, they don't do what we do? Like, why do we go down this road? So okay, I have cancer, or I have, eczema, or, whatever it may be, I got to do something.
Yeah. Well, except for maybe crows and a brave rat or something like that. The animals don't have 7-Eleven. Okay. Their foods aren't cooked, processed, or radiated, canned, boxed, just messed with, right? GMO'd, spliced, diced, sprayed with chemicals, all that stuff. Actually, we're spraying their chemicals. But I think what it is it's a survival mechanism built into us, that we are supposed to be as lazy as possible so that we don't burn excess calories. Because out in nature, man, like you go, there's food everywhere. People don't realize it. And if you're worried about a Holocaust coming and all this stuff and the food supply deals, this might be the gold nugget that can help you save your butt. Number one, you'd want to get a bunch of, number one would be get yourself an edible food book, like a little book on how to forage for edible food. That will be some very important information. Okay. You don't need a freaking grocery store. You need a little book, and you need to learn what's out there in nature that you can eat that'll sustain you. That's number one. Number two, store up on nuts, seeds, grains, and beans, and put a lot of them away. And because you can sprout them, you can grow more seeds in the summer and harvest what you want and take the seeds back like farmers do. And you have more seeds for the next crop, and you can live off the other ones. These are powerhouses of food. So that's two things you can do. But yeah, I think it's just programmed into us because we're supposed to go out, forage, we get our food and stuff like that, and then we rest. Okay.
Yeah, store the calories, store the fuel in the body versus and elsewhere, right?
Yeah, because
if we have to gather, we got to use it all.
Yeah, because you can't just run to the refrigerator or grab a ho-ho, right? And those things are just terrible anyway. There's no nutrients in them. That's one of the things I discovered when I came back from Hippocrates. I'm like, they were pushing a lot of like really good supplements and stuff like that. But I'm like, no, I'm nature boy. I'm gonna just do it all. I'm gonna eat a whole food lifestyle. Well, when I started researching and seeing how bad the soil degradation was. 85% of the nutrients are farmed out of the soil. So for those of us that wake up like I did to the point where we don't want to eat chemical laden fertilized, products or things that are GMO'd, right? Because when you GMO, genetically modify an organism, especially a plant, you're disrupting that plant's metabolism, and then that plant starts producing formaldehyde. Do you want to eat formaldehyde? If you went to 7th or 8th grade biology class, you probably don't, because you saw that's what they dip the frogs in, right? Carpets off gas formaldehyde. That's why people have carpets. They have to have an air purification system, and then they got to get that carpet out of there as fast as they possibly can. These things are so bad, the GMOs and the carpets and stuff like that, these formaldehydes, that morticians are telling us now that the older people don't really need that much embalming done. They're kind of already embalmed.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty bad.
I haven't heard that. That's nuts.
Yeah. So, I swear to God, I'm going to get a mortician on. I've tried to get a couple on, but they're afraid of losing their job. To tell the truth. So, but I'll find one.
Hey, we're giving you a short break here where you can head down to the show notes or lifestylelocker.com and join our tribe of human-powered life heroes. You'll be the first to know about new shows, events, product launches, affiliate specials, and more. And now, back to the show.
So yeah, we have a lack of nutrition, and so most people are just walking around on 15% fuel, and they have no idea what it's like to be at 100%. So we like to give people the awareness of 3 main points. Number 1, our soil's degraded 85%. You have to replace it. You can see my little thing here, Green 85. It's a formula we use to replace the 85% nutrients, make it easy for people. Because one way I did, you can grow sprouts and do all that stuff, but I know a lot of people out of the gate, they're too busy, they can't do it. So it's easier to scoop and go. Number 2, chemical pollution. Scientists and researchers, just type this in. When you guys are done with this episode, go to your browser and type in these 3 words. Don't take my word for it. Umbilical cord chemical. And you can see the studies going back to 2005 that show that every single time they test the umbilical cord blood of young babies, young mothers, supposedly the healthiest of all of us, guess what they find? They look for 400 chemicals. They find 250 of what they're looking for, about 71%. And 180 cause cancer in humans, and 212 cause developmental and brain disorders. So let that sink in a little bit. Our children are being born with 180 cancer-causing chemicals. And that's on the low end, Josh, because we know that there's over 100,000 toxic chemicals out there. And those tests, they were only testing for 400 of them. That's all they were looking for. So if you extrapolate that out, we have the potential of having a roughly 71,000 toxic chemicals in the womb. So our children are being born polluted today. And that's
right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. We are actually de-evolving as a species. So I want to bring awareness to this, right? The air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the clothing that you're wearing, the shampoos, the toothpaste. If your toothpaste says harmful if swallowed, please contact the Poison Control Center. What do you think you're doing when you brush your teeth? You're swallowing a little bit. It's going through the mucous membrane in the mouth. A lot of this fluoride is a byproduct of the aluminum industry. Would you go down to an aluminum plant and eat their byproducts? Well, if you're brushing your teeth with fluoride, you are. Okay. It is a sham. And here's the deal, man. It's like people, we have common sense. But I saw this, Dr. Shiva was actually talking about this study. It's kind of a crazy study. They took a young child, and then they had viewing these adults, and they had like different like little wooden blocks that were like different heights. Mm-hmm. Okay, one's tall, one's a little shorter, one's super short, one's a little bit more, so that there's different heights. They would come into the adult and they would say, "Hey, which one's the tallest, A, B, C, or D?" Now, B was the shortest one. And the adults would go, this was on purpose. They're trying to fool this kid, see what's going on with the mind. B. Okay, next adult comes in. The child's watching this. Which one's the tallest? B, the short one. Okay, next one comes in. Which one's the tallest? B, the short one. B, the short. When they do it 5 times, then they go out, talk to the child, and they say, "Okay, child, you look at these. Which one's the tallest?" And they're like, B.
Yeah, I think, didn't George Orwell talk about that? 2 + 2 = 5?
Yeah, dude. So we have to understand that we have been programmed by people called system scientists. There's about 5 to maybe 8,000 of them. And most of them are working for the dark side out there. There's a bunch of just scumbag folks out there. It's the way it is. Just take a big breath. We don't need to I don't want to get anybody into fear mode. We don't do that. We just recognize things for as they are. We see things for as they are. We take off the rose-colored glasses and see it as it is. We need to learn how to smell a rat. And that's where we're at today. So when these umbilical cord studies, when you have this much pollution going on in your children, and then I was like, oh my God, because when I thought about this, the older we are, the more polluted we are, because the more time we've been on this planet to bioaccumulate from the air we breathe, water we drink, the food the shampoos, the deodorants. If your shampoo says sodium lauryl sulfate, that's a known suffocant to make sudsy things, because we like sudsy suds in our hair. Well, guess what? It's a known cancer causer. And guess what? When I got home, I looked at my shampoo, first ingredient, sodium lauryl sulfate. And I was like, damn it. And I looked at my toothpaste, harmful if swallowed. Please contact the Poison Control Center. So the cool thing is that once you get this awareness, then you can make changes. And even though you can't vote and get anything done anymore, because the voting systems, it's not elections, it's selections, you can still vote with your dollars. When you stop giving your money to these companies that are polluting you, your planet, and your kids, and me, and everybody else, and you give it to companies that have a soul and a heartbeat, they're trying to do good stuff, then we change things, because those industries will change because the money stopped flowing to them, which is great, or they'll just go away, and let's bolster and strengthen the people that have a moral compass.
Yeah.
So we have all the power, but we need the awareness. We need people to get out there and educate and get first person experience. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
Go type in umbilical cord chemical and look it up. Start doing detoxing, learn how to clean up your cells and see how you feel. So soil's degraded. Number 2, we're completely polluted with chemicals. Number 3, we have tremendous amounts of stress. We're blowing out our adrenal glands and our cortisol levels, all this stuff. We're out of whack. So we teach people tactics to lower their stress, simply like breath work, meditation, clearing your mind, exercise, movement, getting out in nature, just basic, simple stuff that works so well. Right. So anyway, those are just a few things.
No, I think that's great. So I know my audience, if they haven't, picked up their device to, throw you into the internet machine, like, who is this guy? How does he know so much? Give us a little idea. Like, so this didn't just come from, a little bit of learning when you were in the institute down in Florida, right?
I picked up quite a bit there, but then what happened was dude, you have to understand, dude, when you wake up every single day and life is hell and you have no energy, and you used to be this athlete that was kicking ass and everything, and you can barely drag your ass through the day, and you got to stimulate yourself with 2 Venti coffees and energy drinks and stuff like that. And you're bleeding rectally, and you're in pain, and you're overweight, and you start getting embarrassed. You can't even take your shirt off, not because you're overweight, because everybody else is pretty much overweight too, but because you look like a salamander and your skin's bleeding. And all of us, and I went into society and the doctors and everybody, Tim, go, all my friends and family, go see your doctor, go. And I did all that, and it freaking didn't work. And I go to this place and they're like, stop putting chemicals in your body, clean that crap out, clean up your gut, and start eating sprouts and
eat food
and green juices, stuff like that, and avocados. And I'm like, okay. And guess what? It freaking worked. And I freaking healed myself. Look at my elbows, dude. There's no eczema anymore. I haven't had that shit in 11 years, man. 11 years. I've personally coached over 600 people through this process. I started geeking out on this stuff. I was so excited about it. I literally, like I said, we've discovered the fountain of youth. And it's like, and that's the way I am. Like, if I find something that's good, I am one of the best. I'm just like, I will shout from the rooftops. If somebody has a good company, they treat me right, they have a good product, I always told people about it. I have to. For some reason, I feel like a moral obligation to do that. When I discovered this, I'm like, I got to start telling people this. I started telling my friends, and at first they thought I was crazy. But in 60 days later, 42 pounds is gone. It was like, now you see it, now you don't. Now they're like, dude, wait a minute. What were you doing?
I want what you got.
Yeah. And then my buddy John, one of my buddy John, he's real estate agent. He comes over. He's like, dude, what's going on over here? And he's like, what are those? I was like, those are sprouts that I'm growing, dude. They're living foods. They're like 30 times more nutritious than a fresh baked vegetable out of the best organic garden, eaten on the spot. And he's like, no crap. I'm like, yeah, 1 handful of these sunflower sprouts is equivalent to 30 handfuls of fresh cut kale or mustard greens or potato greens, the most nutritious vegetables on the planet, 30 times, and 1 little handful. He's like, holy crap, will you grow me those? And I was like, no, dude. I'm like, I'm busy, man. And he just, please, all right, I'll do it. And then 2 days later, he's like, hey, I want to bring my buddy Eric over. I want you to tell him what you told me. So he brought another realtor over, Eric Martinez. What's up, Eric? And Eric's like, dude, will you grow the sprouts for me? So I started growing for Eric. And before too long, I had to double my sprout growing thing in my room. And then people just started showing up, dude, and just knocking 9 o'clock at night. This lady shows up with cancer and her face just all messed up. And It's like the doctor said there's nothing more they can do. And I heard about you and your story, and we're going on date night or whatever sometimes. And I just like, sorry, honey, I got to help these people. So we finally, all these people just started dude, randomly coming here because of the story of Charles and me doing our thing. And so I started doing Wednesday night classes. Then those filled up. Then went to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And over about a 5.5 year period, we had over 5,500 people come to my house for these detox nutrition classes. We made juice for them, showed them how to make raw living food meals, broke down all the stuff that I was learning. And through that process, every morning I'm walking the dogs and I'm listening to tapes and learning from different people and healers and institutes. And I'm just trying to suck this stuff up because I want to be healthy. I don't ever want to get sick again. I want to wake up and feel good every single day. And I want to help other people do the same. And my whole garage got turned into this was before Oregon was, medical marijuana or marijuana legal. So I had to go tell the neighbors like, hey, I'm not growing marijuana. I'm growing another type of grass. It's called wheatgrass and sunflower sprouts and pea sprouts. And I was growing it because these cancer patients, it was a therapy. Like sprouts, dude, are like the most nutritious foods on the freaking planet. I mean, Johns Hopkins backed this up like I think it was like 91 or something like that. The top researcher in Johns Hopkins, cancer researcher, 50-year researcher said that the broccoli, the substance, the phytochemical or plant chemical or plant nutrient in broccoli called sulforaphane was the biggest discovery, the best thing he'd ever seen in a like petri dish would just kill cancer cells. The biggest discovery ever in the history of cancer that he'd seen in 50 years at Johns Hopkins. This is well documented. This made the airwaves. This made national news and everything, right? The cabal, right? It made it out there. It leaked out. And George Bush Sr. was president at the time. He said, I don't like broccoli. So people might remember this, like 600 pounds of broccoli was dumped on the White House steps. It made national attention. And guess what? From that point forward, the price of broccoli seed has doubled and it's never went down since. From that one little blip of information that went out through the national news. Now, if our national news wasn't corrupted, we could really educate people because we can see how powerful it is. They use it very powerfully to put fear into people and scare them into one size fits all medicine when it should be personalized precision medicine, the right medicine to the right person at the right time. Mm-hmm. So that sulforaphane, then they found out that broccoli sprouts were like 50 times more anti-cancer than the broccoli itself because the power of that full-grown plant is locked into that little baby sprout. And that's why sprouts are some of the finest medicine on the planet, and wheatgrass, and you can do so much with it, and it helps speed up healing. And so my whole garage got turned into this huge grow operation. And here I am waking up at 3:34 in the morning, tending to sprouts, getting the orders ready, dropping them off at people's houses on my way to go be at the 8 a.m. financial services meeting at my company. And then I finally had to hire some dude to help me. And then we got drop spots eventually. And people would go to chiropractors' offices like yours or Dr. Bailey, like naturopath's offices, and they pick up their stuff. And we did that for quite a while. So I went all in on this, and I just did it as a public service deal for like 5.5 years. And then finally I started our company, Chemical Free Body.
Yeah. So that's where we are today. Right. And that's why you probably got your nickname. The Health Hero probably came along with that. Process.
I was trying to decide like what, something that was catchy because we're all health heroes. We all are. And all we have to, my job, I believe, is to awaken people and unlock the health hero in them. And I do it through health because through unlocking my health, it also brought me into my spiritual practice. But it took me like 7 years later because I knew like, when I got healthier, I knew there was something more spiritual. I didn't know what it was. And I finally just 7 years later, I ran into some stuff. My spiritual practice has just taken off it's doing great now. I read lots of books and I'm very confident there. And it really helped me because when my little brother was killed in a mountain biking accident, I was very distraught for a long time. And I was smart enough not to punch walls, but I'd catch myself just thinking about him and I'd get pissed. And then I'd just sit there and pound my bed like the Hulk. And I just cry my face off. And I remember one day I was sitting there in my office upstairs and I was just like, Troy, what do you want me to do? And I heard him say, do what you love and do it now. And I was like, I'm out of this industry. I'm going to go help people with their health. I picked up my phone. I called Jeff Dixon, my mentor in the financial service industry, great guy. And I said, Jeff, I'm out. I'm out of here. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm getting out of the financial services industry, man. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm out. I said, I'm going to go help people with their health. And he's like, well, how are you going to make money? I said, I don't know. And I don't care. My little brother's dead and I'm not going to go out not doing what I love. And so I bought a big dry erase board and wrote a bunch of stuff up there trying to figure out how I was going to make a living doing it. I just started coaching people for free. I was a good steward with my money. So I was able to live off my savings for quite a while. And then I finally just, I hired a coach, and the coach said, "How much are you charging people?" And I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "What?" He's like, "You need to start charging people." So I did. And that eventually went up and more and more. And then I was making a pretty decent living doing that. And then we had our product line. When I met Dr. Scott Treadway, we were able to start creating these truly natural detox and nutrition products to help people solve their problems. And basically we ship them detox and nutrition clinics to their home. So I'm like delivering a clinic in your home. And then we have a group coaching community that I lead now on Wednesdays. I have special guests. I'll probably have you on if you'd like. You come talk to my group. And then I have our Dr. Treadway comes on once a month for Talk with the Doc. And then we have private coaching. Now I have coaches underneath me that coach the people one-on-one. I don't do that anymore because I'm just trying to help more people in the group format and grow the company. But that's how the whole thing got started, man.
So
and
cool.
It's not work. I love it. I love talking to you right now. I love sharing this. I just hope to God there's, somebody at the other end that's struggling like I was, and I can get this message across, and they're like, wow, this sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to take action, because that's what we need people to do. We need people to take action. It's a universal principle. It's simply pure physics. What you put out is what you get back. And we've helped a lot of people. And it's like, I still take phone calls. I have, when my assistants and stuff aren't busy, or if they are busy, like taking care of their kids or something, or running their kids back and forth to school, I have them forward the phones to my cell phone. So people call our 800 number. I still take calls, and I love talking to people and hearing their stories and trying to help them out. And I mean, I don't like it when we have tech issues, because I hate that crap.
Who loves that?
But it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
So if anybody ever is working with our company and there's a tech issue, I don't want it either. I promise you, I don't want it either. We'll make it right. If you can't get a hold of us, keep trying. We try to get back to everybody. So I've got a really good webmaster now. We're getting all this stuff fixed up, and we're trying to make it so that we have people have really good customer service, not just great coaching, good information, and good products.
Yeah. So where are the best places for people to find you? I know you mentioned the name of the company, but let's dive in.
Well, just at our website at chemicalfreebody.com. Just go there to chemicalfreebody.com. You can hunt around a little bit. There'll actually be a little pop-up, and it says you want a free gift. And you'll actually be given an ebook. It's called our Core 4 Secrets. And there's some recipes in there too. One of my favorite things on the planet for gastrointestinal health is flax water. So it shows you how to make flax water and how much to drink and all that stuff that's in there. Those Core 4 Secrets are very powerful. We believe it's the foundation. It's a free gift for them. And if they want to try the products, we just recommend they go to the products tab. We have quite a few of them. So scroll down to savings bundles, and that way they can get a discount. So you can start off with like a jumpstart bundle, or I do the total energy and detox bundle every month. And I also take our turmeric 100 product. And at checkout, thanks to you, Josh, we have an extra 5% off. So if they type in human powered at checkout, they get an extra 5% off. So that way they get a double discount, and we have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. If something doesn't work for whatever reason, we'll refund your money, and get a hold of us, because we will point you in a direction of a different product or a different company's product or different. We want to help you do one thing: wake up and feel good, and to be able to follow your highest excitement every day, so you can become a shining example to other people. With 74% of people going to jobs that they don't like and careers they don't like, it's really sad. We should all be doing exactly what we love. That's what we should do. And I saw a deal on like a series where they went down to the school in Costa Rica, and that's what they do down there. They don't have any homework. They don't have anything. The kids learn what they want to learn.
Cool.
It was awesome. I'm moving there. I make sure
I'm going back to school.
I want to have some kids again and send them through that school. So that's what I believe everybody should do. And for me, I was able to follow my highest excitement. I got ignited through improving my health. That was my pathway. Other people might have a different pathway, but that's what I want to do for other people. I want to show them how to get their health back, so they can fight for truth, freedom, and health in this country. And
so you got your website. Don't you have a podcast too? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just jump past that 100 mark.
Yeah. We just had our 100th and 101 episode. It's called the Health Hero Show. It's on all the major platforms, and I've had some great guests. And I also go one-on-one, mano y mano. Sometimes we have this one. I did this one called increasing nutrition, sprouting, how to sprout or whatever, how to increase your nutrition up to 800% through sprouting. I've had another big one, like the biggest hacks. We haven't talked about this yet, but one of the biggest hacks that I've added in the last year and a half was I've been doing infrared saunas, dude, for 9 years. I've been an infrared sauna dealer. You're going to want to, if you don't know about this technology, there's a Taiwanese scientist that meditate a lot and they're very spiritual. They downloaded these computer processors and built them, and they broke a natural law. They broke a freaking Planck's law. Look it up. They broke it. And these infrared saunas are like 6 to 9 times better than the best ones that I was selling. So I had to sell my $5,400 sauna, and I bought this little $1,900 one. And the first 2.5 weeks, my chest and back had acne and stuff. And I was like, yes, it's detoxing at a deeper level. Then 2 months went by and I was enjoying it. It's amazing. But then for 5 months, dude, all this gray stuff starts pouring out in my body into this towel. Now, mind you, I've been taking a 30-minute infrared sauna for freaking 9 years. This sauna is able to raise your core temperature 3.2 degrees. All the other ones are maybe a degree to a degree and a half. So the bottom line was all these heavy metals poured out of me. I was so excited. I feel so good about it. And people like that, like I interviewed Phil Wilson, episode 61, on those saunas. I believe everybody should get one of those in the chemical polluted world we get today. It just speeds up the process so much. It eliminates stress and beautifies your skin and melts fat. And it's just all anything good you could possibly imagine. And it weighs like 33 pounds and you can pack them with you. So it's a nice little easy sauna. Plug it into the wall and you go. So hacks like this is the stuff that I'm into. And I'll do everything I can to help find more stuff like this for my health. And then I share it with our community.
Awesome. All right, everybody connect with this guy, jump on his podcast, get his products. What's the one I'm kind of blocked with my little Zoom, your name there. What is that one?
So this was our original
85.
At Hippocrates, they said at the Take It Home program, they said, if you're not doing 2 green juices a day, don't expect the same results. You're not on the Hippocrates protocol. Hippocrates, that institute, they developed green drinks. They were the original developers of it, right? So we developed this product called Green 85, and it's super highly concentrated nutrition. It's a complete multivitamin, multi-mineral, everything. And if you want to turn it into a complete food, a complete meal, all you have to do is mix it with some sprouted nut milk. If you do that, I just gave you one of my biggest hacks for building muscle, meal replacement, for children that, where mom dries up, breast milk dries up. We have people doing that. And I specifically left some stuff out of here that I wanted to put in here, like ashwagandha, just so pregnant women, breastfeeding women, moms, this for everybody. It's for everybody. We have thousands of people taking it now. It just blows my mind, but it's all word of mouth. It's all word of mouth. It's just been me on doing shows and people getting results. That's it. We don't do any Facebook marketing. I don't give them a dime. I don't want to. Those other places, Google. I mean, we use the services, whatever we can, but I want to do it old school. I want to be grassroots, bottoms up on everything I do.
Love it. All right. Everybody connect with Tim James, the health hero. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Human Powered Life podcast. Make sure to head over to lifestylelocker.com to check out all the details on the show and to watch part 2 of this episode, which is only in video format. We also have this audio portion in video format if you want. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. Josh Hant, for the Human Powered Life podcast, and I'm looking forward to staying connected with you as a Human Powered Life hero. Remember to join the tribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.